Walking out of the town of Searchlight now, starting a 3-day walk to Bullhead City for Section 5. So Searchlight was probably one of my least favorite town stops of all time. I guess the good news is it motivated me to not take a zero, hurry up and get my town chores done, and get out of town as quick as possible. It's a really high crime area, really dirty. The motels are basically the same way, and you know, a couple shady characters out in the parking lot, you know, apparently they were the ones running the place. It's a cash only deal, no credit cards. Oh man, the room, there was no doorknob for the door. It's only a deadbolt, and then there's like a little handle that you have to, you know, open and close the door with. Let's see, the mattress was we'll say a full-size mattress on a twin-size box spring, so it overlapped it. It's just, you know, if you sit on the edge, it just kind of, you know, flops over. There's somebody screaming outside like constantly, but I'll never forget the sound of this guy's voice. It was the most frantic, shrill voice I've ever heard, and he just kept saying, "I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna fucking kill you!" Needless to say, I'm glad to be getting out of Searchlight, and I hope to never go back there again. All right, down there is the Colorado River. There's actually a dam down there, the Davis Dam. This impoundment on the Colorado River is called Lake Mohave. And now that I'm out of this canyon, it's the Nellis Wash Wilderness in between here and the water down there. But I have to cut across this way to the south. You know, in this little saddle here, you can see those peaks in the distance. That's Sprit Mountain, that's where I'm headed. That's pretty much gonna be the highlight of this section. Right, time to leave the wash I've been walking. And now, oh wow. Okay, now the scenery has gotten a lot better. Quite like that. But yeah, now the challenge is different because the washes, they're all leading towards the lake, you know. So now I got to go up and over a series of undulations to kind of reach the mountains there. None of them are very big, and none of them are very deep and steep, you know. So it shouldn't be too big of a deal, but it's definitely not like just walking an easy wash, you know. So I'm thinking back to about 4 years ago when I was trying to make up my mind whether or not I should thru-hike the Continental Divide Trail, which meant drastically altering my life, you know, quitting my job, selling my house, splitting up with the woman I was dating at the time. And one thing that weighed heavily on my mind was just one question, and that was, you know, what's the greatest thing you've ever done in your life? I didn't have an answer to that question, and it really scared me at the time, you know. I think it would be a shame to go through life without just having, you know, one thing you can point to and say, this was the best thing I ever did with my life, the greatest adventure I had, or even better, a whole series of adventures. You have so many that you can't choose. So I think that was the one thing that kind of really tipped the scales for me and made me go down the path that I've been following for the last couple years. So when I'm hiking through areas like this that maybe aren't the most scenic, the most interesting, not the highlight of the trip, I try and remind myself not only of the larger goal of what I'm doing on this trip, but just the fact that, you know, this is one of the biggest things I'll ever do in my life. You know, I did the Basin and Range Trail last year, the CDT in 2018. So if my life ended tomorrow, this would be in the top 3, you know. And when you think of it like that, it kind of gives you chills. You just stop and really appreciate where you're at, even if it's not the most scenic. So even though the tread is pretty much shot on these shoes, I'm going to try and get another section out of them. Got my new ones here, but the terrain in this section, besides Spirit Mountain, really doesn't look all that difficult. So I think I'm going to get away with at least one more section out of these shoes. And since I've only got, boy, a little over 200 miles on them, I think it makes sense. One thing I've always kind of found fascinating is, you know, walking through a huge desert valley with a distant mountain on the horizon, and then approaching it, you know, and then as you get closer and closer, it gets bigger and bigger. Like you see Spirit Mountain here, and it's just pretty much dominates the horizon now at this point. And if it didn't look imposing from far away, it sure does now. After a couple hours off trail, I finally hit this road. I think I'm going to be on a series of roads for a little while, so I cover even more miles. Today's already been a pretty big mile day. Some of these roads are just so deep with sand and gravel. It's actually easier just to walk off trail like I'm doing now, parallel to the road. It's much more solid. Man, that is such a cool looking mountain. I'll be up on the top of that tomorrow. So I've just reached this area marked on the map. It says Camp Thurman, potential mine. Never seen a map say anything about a potential mine. But this was a lead and silver mine at one point. You can see some tailings over there. I'm gonna check that out. And it says camp, you know, so I was kind of expecting maybe an old mining cabin or something at the very least. Another mine shaft. It's blocked off. There's another one there, it's blocked off, so yep, another one here. Really just not much here. It's a big pile of old tailings. This stuff's probably heavily picked over. Yeah, there's all sorts of shafts and stuff. So tonight's camp, right next to the pile of tailings at Camp Thurman, a potential mine. I did find this one open shaft, which is a bit bizarre considering, you know, they blocked this one off, and then 10 feet away, you've got this one that's just wide open. So I found this one here, there's a lot of green in it. This is probably malachite, and that means there's probably some sort of copper in this one. And here's some more green, more malachite, which means more copper, which is often found with lead or galena. The wind picked up quite a bit last night. For a minute there, I thought the wind was going to be pretty constant, but it was kind of bizarre. It would blow pretty hard for 10 or 15 minutes and then just stop for hours. But the wind is supposed to pick up today and tomorrow. something like 30-mile-an-hour winds. But now it's time to head up the Sprit Mountain. I didn't notice this last night. The complex here is kind of a sprawling one. I didn't really have a whole lot of time to explore. I think I never do on these long hikes. There's really just never enough time to see all the stuff that you come across. And this here is the Roman mine. This is kind of where I was shooting for last night if I didn't end up staying at Camp Thurman. And the reason why I wanted to come here, not only to check out the mine, was that there's also a small game guzzler just up the road here somewhere. Really haven't drank more than just a mouthful this morning, so I should probably do the right thing and just take the time to draw that water from the guzzler and rehydrate. Oh boy, this one's a different design. Man, that just does not look appealing to have to do. Clearly I'm not getting into that one. Man, that is not what I was hoping for. Well, I mean, I do have 2 liters. I guess it just means I've got to climb that and hike 10 miles on 2 liters, and I'm already thirsty. Like I could drink a solid liter right now, just right now. The big game guzzlers are super reliable. You know, they're easy to draw from, no big deal. These small game guzzlers are a pain. All right, it is what it is. There he goes, a little jackrabbit. It's only the second rabbit I've seen this whole trip. Really haven't seen that many. All right, there's an old cabin over there. That one looks fairly intact, despite a bunch of bed frames and stuff strewn about outside of it. Well, it's looking a little less intact from this side of it. Yeah. It's like curling. Some historical relics here, Smirnoff Ice. This was very popular back in the 1940s. That's a view though. Wow. It's so windy today. I'm in this valley and I'm all protected and it's still windy. It's actually quite cold as well. You know, when you're moving, I'm sweating. As soon as you stop, it's cold. It's just kind of a frustrating temperature. It's just in between, you know. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I'm about to start heading uphill here and I know I'm gonna be sweating doing that. So it's time to take off these layers and be hot and cold at the same time. This is the wilderness boundary, beginning of the Sprit Mountain Wilderness. But it's a 2,000-foot climb from here. So I've definitely got my work cut out for me. I'm already thirsty just looking at this thing. Oh, I can already tell this is going to be a pain. There's just cactus everywhere. I know I'm gonna get hit with one at some point. This is what I climbed up so far. You can see where I came from, that first little knob down there. And now I'm almost up to the top of the ridgeline. Man, this has just been an awesome climb. So many just jagged pillars and spires and stuff. But I'm about 300 feet below the summit now, so I can just work my way up there. So this is basically the top of the ridgeline. Oh wow, and there's a killer campsite right down there too. Man. Oh man, that's the spot right there. Just this little area of flat spot. I mean, too windy for me to be here today or last night, but under the right conditions, man, this is the spot you want to camp. If only I had a pair of shoes that had more grip. Like, you know, maybe in my backpack that I could just take out at any time. But I'm trying to get more than 250 miles out of a pair of shoes and just being a cheapskate. All right, summit's up there. I just can't tell which one is the highest point. I want to say it's that over there. I'm gonna go check that out, but they all look pretty similar. Yep. This is the tallest point on the Mojave-Sonoran Trail, 5,639 feet. It's cold up here, but man, what a view! Woo! Woo! That's Lake Mohave down there, Colorado River. I've already walked all of this. And then you can see the city over there in the distance. That's Bullhead City. That's where I'm headed. And with the wind today, you can see quite a bit of a dust storm out in the distance. All right, it's cold enough. It's time to get down off this mountain. I've got to start making some miles today so I can get to some water. Oh man, I am thirsty. I've only drank 4 liters since yesterday morning. I just found a spot out of the wind to eat some lunch. Drank a little bit of water. I've got 1 liter left. That should be enough, hopefully, to get me to my next water source. My next water source is a maybe. And then I've got another one after that that's almost a positive. But you never know. I'm really conserving that water though. I just hate to be completely out of water. This is a bit different route than I took coming up. Alright, shoes don't fail me now. It's the route I route I took up before had me coming up and over that ridge line, and then that's where that campsite was. So it was maybe a little bit longer route. I don't know. This is good. I'm gonna follow it. Oh shit. Yeah, you know, going up was slow because of the effort involved, but going down is going to be slow in its own way. So already I've missed the cairns and I've kind of wandered off course here. I think I gotta go back this way. I just didn't see any of the cairns. All right, I guess this is it. Whoa, shit! God damn. Oh man, the worst part about climbing mountains is going down. Always so much worse going down. Okay, now the route's got me hugging this cactus. Not a tree hugger, I'm a cactus hugger. This is not the kind of maneuvers I want to be doing in these shoes, but nevertheless, here we are. All right. It's a real cliffhanger. Quite a bit of the ways down now. Still another 500 or 600 feet maybe. Finally done with the descent on Sprit Mountain there. Really glad to be done getting off of that one. It was a beautiful hike, incredible scenery, but man, that descent. Yeah, I know, coming from a guy who won't change his shoes. It's pretty much done with most of the uphill hiking, I believe, on this section. Should be largely downhill from here. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy though. Oh man, that wind is whipping up there. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds, easy. Go over the pass here and at least there's some relief from that. All right, just reached the road here down in Grapevine Canyon. It's quite a relief. For the moment, I can just walk. I'll walk this for a few miles. I did see two vehicles drive down this road while I was on the little pass before I dropped down to this canyon. So there's a possibility I'll see a car and then maybe they'll stop and they'll have a Gatorade for me. Or my ultimate dream, a cheeseburger. This has been an extremely scenic road walk. And all this now is the Bridge Canyon Wilderness, as well as the Lake Mead National Recreation Area still. And then basically when I hit Bullhead City, I'll be done with the Lake Mead area. How tacky though, you know? You can just see it's all just laying on the ground as garbage. You know, when all this stuff blows away. Get in the spirit of Christmas and have your Christmas tree just litter garbage around the wilderness. Cool! 1.5 from my spring now. Definitely dropped in some elevation. It feels surprisingly good for the little amount of water I've drank since I left Searchlight yesterday morning. I am definitely thirsty. Mouth is dry, but like physically I'm feeling pretty all right. 4.5 liters in a day and a half with all the work I've done. Feeling pretty good about that, probably pushing 40 miles. All right, so Sacatone Spring is supposed to be right down here in this wash somewhere. Not that far away. It's kind of the moment of truth. From my research on satellite, I saw some water. Things have been pretty dry though this fall from what I hear. Got ourselves a tumbleweed here. I haven't seen a wash like this yet in this whole hike. This much vegetation like this. Man, is it looking thick. Just don't know where the spring actually is, you know? Wow. Whoa. What do we have here? A big cottonwood tree. Not in a good spot now. Just search around for water. There's nothing. It's bone dry everywhere. We've got basically an hour of daylight left, hour and 10 minutes or whatever, and I can keep walking down this canyon. There's not going to be any water. It's just going to, you know, keep walking along my course. And I'm going to have to go another 10 miles or something for it. Well, yeah, figure 10 miles before I hit water. I could get to Lake Mead, it might be 8 miles or something like that. But that means I'm going to go to bed thirsty tonight, thirsty in the morning. I'm pretty much out of water. I've got 5 ounces of water left, something like that. Just enough to kind of wet the whistle, really. I'm just going to keep walking down this canyon, and I'm just gonna deal with it, you know. I'm going to go to bed thirsty tonight. My only hope is I come across a small pothole of water or something. Some surprise water source, but barring that, I think it'll just mean that I'm just going to be thirsty until mid-morning tomorrow or something. It's not the end of the world. I've actually been pissing quite a bit, which is amazing for the little amount of water that I drank. I don't understand it, so I'm not as dehydrated as I should be for the amount of water I drank. I'm just really thirsty, and it's just like a mental thing, you know, being like completely out of water. And if it stays like this, I'll just say right now, I've got a good feeling I'll find water at some point in a little pocket or something down one of these. Really no good holds on this one. Of course, I got shoes that have a lot of grip, so that's, you know, a bonus. And in fact, you know what? I'm just gonna jump down this one, I think. Oh, it's gonna be a fun canyon. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be ready for a 0 day when I get to Bullhead City. This is actually Sacatone Wash, name of the spring, Sacatone Spring. Grapevine Wash dumps into this a little bit further down. This was the big spring, Sacatone Spring. That was wet when I looked at it on satellite. Of course, you don't know what time of year it was, you know, it could have been the rainy season or whatever, but it's pretty obvious this wash gets a lot of water, so it's kind of blowing my mind, you know, that was dry. It's coming up, this wash is going to narrow considerably. The walls are going to be vertical a couple hundred feet, I'm gonna have nowhere to go. It's just gonna be narrow, deep. Oh man, it's getting interesting tonight. No water, wind funnel. That's what I signed up for though. Some really cool canyons though. It's kind of a shame. Gotta rush through them. Basically fast walking as fast as I can. I think no matter how fast I walk, I'm pretty much gonna get stuck in the middle of this thing tonight. Basically the deepest, steepest, narrowest part. Okay, this one is going to be a challenge. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, and the problem is I can't even wedge myself. Can't wedge myself anywhere here. I've got this to step on, and that's basically it. Lower my pack down would probably be the smart thing to do. I've only got 20 minutes of daylight left though. Man, is it windy too? It's just the wind's blowing up this canyon. I mean, it's not that high, but it's high enough to where you fall awkwardly, and you could certainly get hurt here. And I know my Garmin's not going to work here in this canyon. All right, so I got my string here with the carabiner. I'm going to lower the pack down, try and down climb it, you know, without the pack. That's the only thing I can think of. I've only got, it's 4:19. It's, you know, I've got 30 minutes of daylight left here, so I've really got to hurry with this. All right, just made it down the down climb. Man, that was easily the sketchiest thing I've done in this trip so far. Man, that was pretty gnarly. All right, keep going. This is definitely not the, ooh, is that water? No, it's just green algae. As Bear Grylls would say, oh, there's water. Oh man, it's looking, you know, not the best, but now it's just, I gotta find a place to camp as well. There's really nowhere to, there's some water too. I'm gonna have to get around this one. Oh man, well, I got two places with water. I'm gonna have to keep going because I just don't have anywhere to camp right now. I can't get stuck here in the dark. It's 4:30 now. I'm really running out of daylight. So what I'm gonna do is just collect 3 liters. I'm gonna put two, oh shoot. I'm put 2 in my platypus bag, and then I'll put 1 in this Gatorade bottle, and then I'll filter it later when I get to camp. Oh man, that is, oh God, you can see the color in that too. That is just nasty. Knew this canyon would have some water somewhere. There's another pothole here. I just had a feeling if it's gonna be this deep, this rugged, it's gotta have water. And now I just gotta find a spot to lay my head tonight. Man, 3 liters, that makes a big difference. That's huge. And it's opening up a little bit. You know, I could certainly put a tent out here, or cowboy camp or whatever. I was getting worried I was gonna have to just kind of cuddle up in my sleeping bag against a rock or something. No, I've had it for the day. This is as good as it's gonna get. I think it narrows a little bit further up, so I'm just gonna throw my tent right here and call it a day. And get started on filtering some of this nasty looking water. Even my pee isn't that dark. That's just gross. That's the kind of stuff you back flush every liter or half liter with the Sawyer filter. It's that dirty. Man, I just filtered this liter of water here, and it's pretty much the same color. It's just a shade lighter than this one. I've honestly never had that happen. I filtered some extremely green water and it, you know, came out crystal clear. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. If it's safe to drink or what. Like, why does it still have that strong tint to it? Well, I got a couple chlorine tablets. I think I'll just drop these in here. Give it some time. And then I don't know. I'm gonna put some drink mix in there, I guess. I don't know what else you can really do. Should really drink this water, but it just doesn't look that good. It's morning day 3 now since I've left Searchlight. This is the last of my 5 liters that I left Searchlight with. It's the only water I've drank this whole section. This is 5 liters. So I'm a little, you know, apprehensive to drink the last of it, but I think with breakfast here, I think I'm gonna kill that off. And I've got this flat bagel to eat. You know, 5 more miles or something till I get to my next water source. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty thirsty, but you know, no headache, no cramps, and pretty unbelievable. I've hiked something like 45 miles on this 5 liters of water, and to be feeling the way I am, I don't understand it. This is the dirty water I filtered. This is the water I filtered and put the chlorine in. I haven't drank any of this yet. And then this is the last of my 5 liters. So I'm gonna drink this right now. I'm just not sure what's in this water, and to me, I don't think it makes sense to drink this right now when all I have to do is go another couple hours, 5 miles or something, down to Lake Mead and get my water from a good clean water source. I will drink this if I need to, but I just don't see the point right now. I'll just keep it as an insurance policy, get to Lake Mead, get my water. So let's get moving. Getting pretty hungry now as well. Been trying to eat less so it doesn't you know, absorb all the water that I do drink. But man, I'm feeling remarkably decent for the circumstances. Canyon is a lot easier to walk right now. Last night, man, I was hoofing it. Adrenaline was running. I was a little nervous about just finding a spot. And what a difference a night makes, you know? This is more of a leisurely walk for me now at this point. It's not that bad. And here's a little trickle of water coming right out of the rock here. It's really not enough for me to do anything with. And you can just see this vein of green rock in the middle of all the rest of this. That's pretty neat. What an incredible canyon. It's just been non-stop. Incredible scenery like this around every single turn. It's just been outstanding. Well, here we go, just got to this pour off and there's actually a rope in place. It's really surprising to see. I guess I'm down in the lower reaches of the canyon now, or at least middle lower. So, hey, I'll take it. I have no idea how long that rope's been in place. It's not like Gold Strike Hot Springs where it gets used all the time and you can, you know, kind of trust it. You know, this one, I mean, honestly, it looks pretty weathered. Okay, big stretch, big stretch. Now I think I'm pretty much done with the, I guess, the narrowest part. And the canyon's starting to open up a little bit here. Oh yeah, really making it down into the lower reaches of this canyon now. All the way over there is Arizona, on the other side of the Colorado River. You can just see how it's rising up and everything on this side's going down. I'm really not all that far from the river now. That's a beautiful sight right down there, right in the notch. Water. Still ways off, but you know, I can see it. And you can see the white caps out there. Man, the wind is whipping. As we get closer to the lake now, you can see there's actually quite a few campers down there. I didn't realize it was like a campground. Huh, got a dumpster here. I'm wondering if there's actually gonna be a water spigot. That'd be really convenient. If it wasn't so windy. Oh man, this would be great. Oh God, it stinks. Oh, it smells horrible. Seaweed.
Where you going to?
Bullhead City.
Oh, you're real close now.
Yeah, I've been walking for about 3 weeks. I started at Valley of Fire State Park north of Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to town and get a cheeseburger or something and rest a little bit. Well, thanks again. I'm gonna keep walking. Thank you. You too. Man, the water on the beach smelled worse than the water coming out of those potholes I found in Grapevine Canyon yesterday. It smelled absolutely awful. It smelled like a sewer. Asked some people camping if there was a water spigot there in the campground, and they said no, but you can use our water from our holding tank in our RV. So I took basically 4 liters. I already chugged a liter and a half, and man, you could just You could just feel the energy like coursing through your veins again. Yeah, what a feeling. So I checked my GPS and I hiked 52 miles. I think it's 52 miles from Searchlight on the 5 liters of water. Overwhelming feeling of hunger now that I've got some fluids in me. Definitely time to stop for a break and eat some food, get some electrolytes. Oh my God. What a truly incredible feeling. That break was absolutely amazing. Just what I needed to give me the energy to keep going, knock out these last few miles. Remnants from an old mine here. This one was called the Wiley Inspiration Mine. And they mine silver and gold here. That's about all I know. For as boring as this section started out to be, it sure ended up being quite an adventurous one. And you know, it's funny, I've been craving like a partner, you know, to join me on all these adventures, someone to share the experience with. And after yesterday, and really the last couple of days in the whole water scenario, and I just kind of wonder, even if I did have somebody here with me, you know, how much we would butt heads on, you know, the best path forward. And so yeah, because I don't know that anybody else would have said, yeah, you know, let's do this 52 miles on 5 liters of water, you know. Yeah, so, you know, going alone makes it a lot easier to make those tough decisions, but at the same time, boy, sure makes it hard to go through some of these experiences and just really not have anybody to share it with and look back on it that really gets it. Well, today's day 20, and I've just completed walking the entire Lake Mead National Recreation Area from north to south. It's been an incredible experience, absolutely stunning landscapes, tons of solitude, just an awesome experience. But with that said, I'm only halfway done with my hike, not even halfway done. And I've got another 400 miles or so to complete the route that I set out to do. And now it's time to enter Arizona and start the second half of the Mojave-Sonoran Trail. And this now is the Davis Dam. This holds back the Colorado River, forming Lake Mohave. And once I cross this dam, I'll be in Arizona and I'll be done with Nevada. So now I'm approaching the Davis Dam, and from what I understand, foot traffic is allowed to go over it, which seems, you know, sort of questionable. It's not like the normal thing for a dam of this size to allow foot traffic, but I'm here and I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, a little sketchy feeling, but it does say bike access, so it's gotta be good for foot traffic. Wow, that is a cool view. Do not trespass. Stay on the road. It's just such an awkward walk. There's like cameras everywhere, you know you're being watched. Man, what an incredible place to walk. Never walked on anything like this. Huge dam. On this side is Lake Mohave. Man, that's looking wicked. The color of that water. You can see releasing a bunch of water down there out of the dam. This is essentially the point where I'd like to start and end this section at. It's a pretty conservative part of the country. They don't typically stop for hitchhikers here. So I had to get an Uber. Thankfully there is Uber in Bullhead City, so got one on the way.